Welcome, students. This is the third lecture in the fifth unit. So, in the previous class, we discussed about job evaluation, meaning, definition, and also regarding job design. And we have left only one topic in job evaluation, and that two topics actually. The one is job evaluation methods and job evaluation factors. So today we are going to learn about the various methods used in job evaluation. There are various methods where the industrial psychologists may use any one of them. So there are actually four job evaluation methods: ranking system, job classification or grading method, point rating method, factor comparison method. So let us recapitulate what is job evaluation. Job evaluation is the process of assessing the relative worth of the job in an organizational setup. Jobs are usually evaluated on the basis of its content and complexity, and also because of its operations, positioned according to the importance. The main purpose of job evaluation is to find out the worth of the job or the satisfactory wage differential. As I told you, there are four methods of job evaluation. First one is ranking method. Ranking method is one of the type of non-analytical method. It is the simplest and an inexpensive, that is cheap, job evaluation method, wherein jobs are ranked from highest to the lowest based on the importance in the organization. In this method, the overall job is compared with other set of jobs, and a rank is given based on its content and complexity of performing it. The job is not broken into factors and overall analysis is done. The main advantage of ranking method is that it is very easy to understand and least expensive. But however, it is not free from the limitations. It is subjective and employees may feel offended, and also sometimes it may not be fruitful for big organizations because we are not breaking the job into various tasks. We are taking the job on the whole. So ranking method may sometimes fail in larger organizations, whereas in smaller organizations it may be successful. So here jobs are assessed based on the importance in the organization. But in some organizations, sometimes maybe the organization may feel that the job is important, but in a larger context, the job may not be important. So like this, there are few disadvantages associated with this method. So an industrial psychologist or the HR manager or the person who looks after the industrial personnel should actually assess which method has to be used depending on several factors which we will discuss later. The next one is job classification method or job grading method. This is also a non-analytical job evaluation method. In this method, job grades or classes are predetermined and each job is assigned to these and is evaluated accordingly. For example, at the managerial level, people under which subclassification basis of the job roles such as office manager, department manager, departmental supervisor, etc. So jobs are classified into different levels. In this method, the most important advantage can be received is it is very less subjective as compared to ranking method and many a times acceptable to the employees. The entire job is compared against the other jobs and is not broken into factors. The problem in this type of method of job is that it may differ with respect to content and complexity. So you cannot place under one category. Sometimes it may be overestimated or sometimes the job may be underestimated. So classification may not be helpful always. You can see, for example, the job grading method in government organizations, class 1, class 2, all these are nothing but grading. So usually in state government organizations or central government run organizations, we find this type of a method. So there are few advantages, as I told you, and few disadvantages too. And one of them being hype. This a job can be hyped, or maybe it may be degraded. As in clear terms, you can say that overestimated or underestimated. Next one is points rating method or points ranking method. This is an analytical way of evaluating a job. In this method, each job's key factor is identified and the sub-factors are determined. These sub-factors are then assigned the points by its importance. For example, the key factor to perform a job is skills, and it can be further classified into sub-factors such as training required, communication skills, social skills, persuasion skills, etc. The point ranking method is less subjective and mostly it is error free. The rater for this job sees the job from all perspectives, but it's a very complex method and time consuming because points and weight scale has to be given and decided first for each factor and subfactor. This is about point ranking method or rating method. The last method here is factor comparison method. Under this method, the job is evaluated and the ranks are given on the basis of series of factors like mental effort, physical effort, skills required, supervisory responsibilities, working conditions, and other relevant factors. These factors are assumed to be constant for each set of jobs. Thus, each job is compared against each other on this basis and ranked accordingly. The most important advantage associated with this job is that it is consistent, and again it is very less subjective and mostly accepted. But it's also a complex method, expensive method, and also time consuming. So therefore these are the 4 methods of job evaluation: ranking system, job classification or grading method, points rating method, and factor comparison method. Now we'll go further and discuss about the various factors to look into before deciding the job evaluation or before evaluating the job. Education. What kind of educational level is required to perform the job? Should he be educated first of all? If he is operating a machine, what level of education? Should he be a 12th standard pass, or should he be a graduate or a postgraduate or an engineering graduate or a management graduate? These questions has to be considered. Experience. How much experience? What type of experience is required for the job? Complexity. How complex is the job to be performed? Scope of the work. How much work is to be done? To whom he has to report? What is his scope? Problem solving ability has to be assessed through aptitude tests. Autonomy to work. How much freedom will be given? How much decision making abilities can he use? Impact or results of decisions. If he takes decisions, what will be the impact or results of these decisions? How his interpersonal skills will affect the job? To whom is he going to report? How is he going to handle people management? How many people he can handle? What type of people he can handle? Can he handle or not? To whom is he going to report? Is he capable of handling so many people? If he capable of reporting to the higher authorities, or someone in between should be there? So like that, these are the factors that are to be considered in job evaluation. So let us go again on the factors: education, experience, complexity, scope of work, problem solving, autonomy to work, impact or results of decisions, interpersonal skills, authorities, people management. So with this we complete our topic on job evaluation. The next one is workspace arrangement. Usually in industrial setups there are workspaces. So how to design the workspaces in the efficient manner is the question here. So workspace arrangement is a study to provide help new businesses establish themselves. So workspace refers to small premises provided often by local authorities or economic development agencies to help new businesses to establish themselves. So a physical space is given and you have to utilize it. Physical space along with few utilities. Sometimes administrative services are also being given, and sometimes like we have special economic zones. Like I think you have seen in the high-tech city we have various towers, right? Raheja, this, that group and all. So there are not one single company running in it. There are many companies running in it. They are having the physical space and also the utilities like parking, Wi-Fi, cafeterias, and security. So all these are the utilities, and the workspace is the physical space given. On a continuum of sophistication that range to categories such as managed workspaces, business incubators, and you can also see the T Hub, Telangana Hub, which is at high-tech city again, I think, or Gachibowli, like it is near Triple IT Hyderabad. There also you can see workspaces are given. So here a continuum of sophistication ranges through categories such as managed workspaces, business incubators, and business and employment cooperatives. In cities, they are often set up in buildings that are disused, not used, but which the local authority wishes to retain as a landmark. At the larger end of the spectrum are business parks, virtual offices, technology parks, and science parks. Okay, so workspaces are nothing but these things. Now, going further, what is a workplace? Workplace is a location where someone works for his or her employer and place of employment. Such a place can range from a home office to a large office building or a factory. For industrialized societies, the workplace is one of the most important social space other than home. It constitutes a central concept for several entities. For the worker, for her family, his or her family, the employee organization, the customers, and the society. The development of new communication technologies have led to the development of virtual workplace also, which is a setting where there is no physical space. So workplace has been innovated over time into virtual workplaces. Now let us go and understand what is ergonomics, which is related to workplace. Ergonomics is a science related to the suitability of an office design to people by taking into account people's capabilities and limitations. An ergonomically designed workplace design strives to be effective in fulfilling the functional requirements of users. Workplace design should aim to propagate intuition, teamwork, and more importantly, provides a safe and comfortable environment. Workplace design has a profound impact on the productivity of worker. Making the best use of space through optimum placement of equipment. integrating human factors and effectively aligning workplace with the surrounding environment. Ergonomics is the field of study focused on individuals and how they interact with the occupations or workplace. It helps in providing the tools necessary to see that there is no undue strain on the body parts of an individual with increasing rates of injury and illnesses caused as a result of workplace design. The cost of the company can add up in the long run. So always organizations try to make offices ergonomically compliant. So what are the considerations to be made to make a small office ergonomically compliant? First one is recognizing the physical, physiological and psychological demands of the job. If you are making an office and it has to be made according to the ergonomics, so you should, the industrial psychologist should find out, is there a need for a physical setup, what, how much area should be needed, and what are the physiological requirements, and what are the psychological requirements for the job. All these has to be assessed and recognized. Next one is recognizing the physical, physiological and psychological capabilities of a worker. In the previous step, first step, primary step, we discussed about the demands from a job. Now we have to see the demands of a worker in terms of physical capabilities, in terms of physiological capabilities, and in terms of psychological capabilities. So now you have to compare both of them and find the mismatches in this third step. Then you have to fill the gaps where there is a demand and the demand is not met by the worker. Maybe physiologically he might be required to be fit visually, but when we find it that the worker is not visually fit, then we have to send him to the ophthalmologist or something of that sort and then make him physiologically fit, or else you can give the job to another person who is visually fit. Next one is, last step is training and educating the worker to work optimally around this office space. When both the demands of the job and the capabilities of a worker are exactly same, then the worker has to be trained and educated regarding the work around the workspace. So this is how offices are designed ergonomically, evaluated also. What is ergonomics? What does it consist of? It's a study that helps understand the physical, physiological and psychological demands of a job in a holistic view. What does it consist of? It's setup of a workstation. I mean, what posture, time taken to complete certain activity, how movement, how the people should move in the organization, and what are the repetitions with related to the task, the surroundings of the workplace, the kind of workplace, the illumination or lighting, the level of noise, the other environmental conditions like atmospheric conditions like humidity, temperature. Okay, so all these are few things which are part of ergonomics. The job tools used for performing the job, like the mouse, keyboard, printer, scanner in case of desktop jobs. Okay, so this is how ergonomics consists of. So a small example here, how an ergonomically compliant office looks like and what questions to be answered for a desktop job, right? So here, what is the position of your keyboard and mouse? Is it right? Do you use a notebook or make notes, and how best you can place the notebook on the table? Do you have an adjustable monitor in order to reduce eye strain sometimes? And is there any noise coming from outside which can be controlled? And also temperature. What is the temperature controlling mechanism? Do you have ACs in case of humid climates, and in case of cold places, is there any heating system? So these are few questions to be answered. And the next one is, are you able to maintain the recommended distance at your workstation? Height, distance, and seating upright workstations, etc. So now the best example is the ergonomics here plays an important role after the COVID-19 impact on organizations. 6 feet distance has to be maintained in organizations. So the whole work setup or the workstations has to be changed, are changed actually, and which didn't change are actually going for a change because of the health conditions or health hazards that employees may face because of the COVID-19 pandemic spread. Okay, so this is one best example which you can view for an ergonomically compliant office. So with this, I think we finish our lecture today. So let us recapitulate. What did we do today? We have done job evaluation methods. As I told you, there are 4 methods: ranking method, grading method, points rating method, and factor comparison method. And what factors affect job evaluation? These are few 10 factors, and there could be many others too which actually affect the job evaluation. Workspace arrangement. What is a workplace? What are the new workplaces? That is a virtual workplace or a physical workplace. Then what is a workplace and how is it related to ergonomics? What is ergonomics and how ergonomics is used to design workplaces? And what are the tools used to avoid any kind of injury or illnesses? And how to evaluate and make an office ergonomically compliant? What are the steps? 4 steps we read today. And then how a workstation is set up, and what an ergonomics usually consists of, and the surroundings, the job tools, and the setup. 3 important things: setup, surroundings, and job tools. Next one, we discussed a small example of a desktop job, how it has ergonomically compliant office setup, and the best example here we took was the workstations after the COVID-19 pandemic. So with this, we finish our 3rd lecture in 5th unit. Thank you very much.